What do you say when a Jewish boy is kicked on a New York City sidewalk? What do you say when a Holocaust survivor is firebombed on the streets of Colorado?
What do you say when you get banned for a video that you made 3.5 years ago about Kyrie Irving posting a link to a movie? I'll tell you what you say.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
It is the best $3 billion investment we make. If we look at the Middle East, I think it's about time we stop, those of us who support, as most of us do, Israel in this body, for apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent an Israel.
All right, all praise to our Heavenly Father, the Most High Yah, the great I am that I am, in the name of our Lord and Savior. Some of y'all call him Yahusha, some of y'all call him Yahushua, some of y'all call him Jesus, right? Yeah, and I know some of y'all may, not like to use the little clip, but, I apologize for the language, but, you know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you how I felt, when I found out, you know what I'm saying? These people, banned me, over a video from 3.5 years ago. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, right? But the reason they banned me is because they're getting scared. You know what I'm saying? But, first of all, let me give a shout out, a special shout out to, Brother K. Judah, Apostle Curtis, Two Houses Ministry, and all of y'all in the live chat, and everybody who reached out to me, everybody who, went over to Spotify, was communicating, during the whole time that they had banned me, right? I appreciate each and every one of you. The only reason I'm not calling all your names individual because I don't want to leave anybody out. But all of y'all know who you are. You know what I'm saying? And I really, really thank you for the support. You know what I'm saying? And I thank the Most High for each and every one of you. You know what I'm saying? That's why, people like, oh, well, I follow you. I don't have followers. You know what I'm saying? We're family here. We're brothers and sisters in Christ. We're family. You know what I'm saying? We are the true Hebrew Israelites, you know what I'm saying, of the Bible. And this is the reason why these people are shook. They're scared. They don't want to see us unified. They don't want to see us to come together and pray, you know what I mean, like we're supposed to. They don't want to see us filled with the Holy Spirit. They don't want to see us be regathered from all the places that we've been scattered. And this is the reason why they pull a little crap that they done, right? But now let me show y'all exactly what they done. All right, so as y'all can see, last Wednesday, you know what I mean? I just get this out of nowhere, right? And from my YouTube account, you can see what they said. Hi, Tim Steve. You know what I mean? It looks like iron sharpeneth iron, anti-Semitism or truth. The persecution of Kyrie Irving didn't follow community guidelines to help keep our community safe. We removed it from YouTube, right? What we found, we think your content didn't follow our hate speech policy. What? You know what I'm saying? Content that incites hatred against individuals or groups based on their protected group status isn't allowed on YouTube. Oh, their protected group status. So people can run around here calling us the N-word. People can run around here saying that we ain't the true Israelites. People can run around here talking about slavery and every daggone thing else. But when you go in and you expose these people for being converts, right? When Kyrie Irving just posted a link, you know what I'm saying, to a movie, Hebrews to Negroes, right? Y'all still on that from 3.5 years ago, right? But that's what I say. This may include dehumanization, using slurs and stereotypes. Slurs? Who gets used more slurs? Y'all got the N-word all over YouTube, right? Inferiority claims and or conspiracy theories. What? We review educational, documentary, artistic, and scientific content on a case-by-case basis. Limited exceptions are made for content with sufficient and appropriate context. Read policy. You can see an example around 1 minute and 1 second, although there could be other instances. Well, you know what I mean? I'll show y'all where y'all can go look at the video, itself. because I still have it up on Hebrew Connect. You know what I mean? So the bottom line is, you know, they're clearly lying. You know what I'm saying? How this impacts you. Your channel now has one strike. You won't be able to do things like upload, post, or live stream for 1 week. This strike expires after 90 days. Remember not to use other channels, including new or existing, to get around restrictions. That's called circumvention, and it could result in the termination of all your channels and the removal of your content, right? So you see, they just think that they can try to bully people, but they didn't throw me off, you know what I mean, about 5 or 6 times. But anyway, of course, I appealed it. Let me show you what and all you can do is just hit the button and say, yeah, okay, I appealed this, right? Man, within 12 minutes, this is the next letter that they sent me. We reached a decision on your appeal within 12 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't get to say anything. All I did was hit a button. We have reviewed your appeal for the following. How is it an appeal? All I did was hit a button. I wasn't even able to fill anything out. Iron sharpeneth iron, anti-Semitism or truth, the persecution of Kyrie Irving. We reviewed your content carefully. How? Within 12 minutes. And have confirmed that it violates our hate speech policy. We know this is probably disappointing news, but it's our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for all. So with all these people on here on YouTube talking about, you know, y'all not being the real Israelites and all this stuff, this stuff, right? Candace Owens has millions, you know. Jimmy Dore, they got hundreds of thousands. You know, all these people, Tucker Carlson. And you mean to tell me they're not being banned, but you banned me and I only got 13,000 people? And that video, this video, now y'all see, it wasn't even hardly, I don't even know if it had 100 or 200 views on it. That thing was from 3.5 years ago, right? But anyway, how does this impact your content? We won't be putting your content back up on YouTube. If your appeal was for a warning, you will not be given another warning in the future. If your appeal was for a strike, the strike will remain on your channel. So now I got a strike on my channel for 90 days, right? So they're trying to build a case. And if they can go in and pick any video, you know what I'm saying? They could pick another video today, tomorrow, and the next day and give me another strike and then try to throw me off YouTube. So I know what they're up to, right? But anyway, let me show you all the different times that they have thrown me off of YouTube, and it's all been over bogus reasons. It's always the same thing with these people. All right. So now as y'all can see, last year, over a year ago, when I put YouTube wants blacks deceived by liberals, right? So they banned me for that. You know what I'm saying? You know, but actually they yanked this one down. This is not the video that they banned me for. I take that back. They yanked this one down, right? But this was the video that they banned me, right? Right here. The 4B movement, another eugenics agenda, right? And in this video, we talked about how the liberals, you know, after the election, when you had a bunch of you know, black women who were mad and saying that black men didn't show up to vote and all this type of stuff, and they was trying to cause divide between black women and black men. When they did this video, you know what I'm saying? I put this out here, and put the Malcolm X clip in here, start showing how they basically tried to cause division in our families. And then I went into eugenics about how Margaret Sanger and them, you know what I'm saying, basically went out there and was using Negro preachers and everything to try to keep people, you know what I'm saying, from procreating, right? So they could keep our numbers lessened. They went in and banned me for that. You see what I'm saying? When I'm giving historical fact, you know, and yet they banned me for it. And this is the crap that they did a year ago. Now, as you can see, they banned me also another, you know what I mean, probably a year and probably like almost 2 years ago. This was almost closer to 2 years ago, this ban, right? When I put this video out, Israel assigned to the nations. Now, here was the crazy thing about this. They banned me, you know what I'm saying, not for this video. The video is up here. You can still watch that video to this day. They just demonetized it, right? But, you know, it's an hour long. They banned me over the trailer. I put a 30-second trailer in, and they banned me for a week for the trailer. They left the video up here. They snatched down the trailer, and they banned me for a week, right? You see? And then you see where I got here in the background where y'all can see, right? This video can't be viewed on YouTube. Only you can see it. What to look for in your review, violent or graphic content. So they basically, you know what I'm saying, because of the slavery and all that. So when we tell our history, oh, it's violent or graphic, but you know what I'm saying, they can tell all about the Holocaust and all this type stuff. But yet when we talk about, you know what I mean, what happened with the transatlantic slave trade and going through the history of it and why we are the real children of Israel, they banned me, you know what I'm saying, for this, right? For a week. All right. So this is the video, as you can see right now. Iron sharpening iron, anti-Semitism or truth, right? Oh, and I see that video now has 692 views, so people must have been finding it. Because, you know what I'm saying, all my iron sharpening iron videos, the only iron sharpening iron video that really had ran any was this one right here, when Geno Jennings versus IUIC, and that was from like 3.5 years ago, right? But most of those iron sharpening iron videos, you know what I'm saying, wouldn't even, you know, approach, you know, 400 or 500, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know, it must have been running. I wasn't aware of it. So they went in there, and that's the reason why they banned me, you see? So that video was from over 3 years ago, but you see it only had 692 views. Candace Owens gets millions of views. You know what I'm saying? Tucker Carlson gets millions of views. And here they are running around here banning me. You know what I'm saying? Now, another video, as y'all can see, from 3 years ago that I got kicked off for. You know what I'm saying? They removed my video, right? About abortion, eugenics. You know, had did a video about that. Anytime you talk about eugenics and was going over the Margaret Sanger stuff, ban me for that. You see, I told you I get banned so much. It's like, I mean, I'm used to it. That's why I told my brother when I got banned on this last one, first thing he did was laugh. Him and his friend, they were just busted out laughing. You know what I mean? Because people are used to me getting kicked off. They do it all the time. Now, as y'all can see from these iron sharpening iron videos, right? That me, Brother Bob, and Brother Leroy was doing all the time, right? And y'all can see, right? This video here only had 14 views, right? And this was from 4 years ago, as you can see. Guess what? They banned me. And you know what I'm saying? And Brother Bob, you know what I mean, who his videos, you know what I mean, his channel, you know, he ain't even have nobody else, you know, watching his channel, you know what I'm saying? So we basically took the same video, you know, I sent it to him for him to post it up there. And guess what? They snatched him down too. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't got no viewers, right? But the bottom line is, you can see this video only had 14 views. And in it, you know what I'm saying, it was iron sharpening iron, standing for the word of God. We talked about when the government issues decrees that, you know what I'm saying, are not lawful, you know what I mean, that tell you to go against the word of God, then you can't follow that. You see what I'm saying? So we was basically telling, and we talked about, you know, you taking the jab, taking the shot, right? Just mention the word, and they yanked me off YouTube and they banned me, right? All right, so as you can see here, right? 29 views. I only had 29 views. Now, here's the crazy part about this one. As you can see, 4 years ago, banned me for this. And what was it about? Fear, right? You know what I mean? You moving in fear, taking them jabs, and the bottom line is you got to trust in Psalm 91. So we basically talked about that. Now, as you can see, this was the full video, but I had also uploaded it in parts. And guess what? They didn't take them down. But this one here, took it down, and I got banned for that too. You see what I'm saying? That's what I tell you. There's no rhyme or reason with this. They just go in, find a bogus excuse, you know what I mean? And now, after all this stuff that came out with them jabs, they need to be apologizing to me. Because now they have admitted that we was right, you know? But yet and still, you know, here it is, I done got banned, you know what I mean, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago, and now, right? Because they always trying to find a reason to try to, you know, give me a strike. And I think they always go in there and start messing around with the algorithms whenever they see the channel starting to grow. And then they just find a bogus reason to throw me off and then go in there and messing around with the algorithms, right? All right, so as y'all can see, that's why when it comes to this channel, I always make preparations, right, to go, you know, and make sure I spread out, because in case they kick me off and ban me just like they did, right? And I had recently just started, you know what I'm saying, uploading videos to Spotify, and I had, you know, did a post about it, but I hadn't told everybody, right? Well, now let me go and show y'all my Spotify channel. I have a Rumble channel, but I'll show y'all that too. I can't even upload to Rumble anymore, right? And Rumble is supposed to be, oh, this safe place for you. Nah, they won't even let me upload there. But let me show y'all my Spotify channel. All right, so as you can see, this is Spotify, right? And if you go into Spotify and you type in, you know what I'm saying, Sound Doctrine, with/Bro Tim. All right. Then you click on enter. Okay, you should see this picture right here come up. You click on the picture, right? Now you'll see that all the episodes are on here. All right. Now, once you click on here, you should be able to see the video come up. Okay, you click on the video and then you should be able to watch it. Now, I do know that some people say they're not able to see the video. They could just hear it in audio. But when I don't know what's going on with that. Like I said, I'm not with Spotify. I gotta learn, this, because I had just started uploading to this, and I didn't plan on, what I'm saying. But the way it worked out, the way the Most High worked it out is that, the people who knew, y'all knew where to go find me, what I'm saying, while they kicked me off. But this is where you can also find me on Spotify. Okay. Now let me show y'all my Rumble page. All right, so here's my Rumble page. Now this is when I was trying to upload one of the videos that I uploaded to Spotify, and watch and see what it does. Okay, so you see it looks like it's uploading and everything. And then guess what happens? Boom, video upload failed, right? So I can't upload to Rumble anymore. All right, and finally, here is my Hebrew Connect page, okay? So if you go to Hebrew Connect and you type in Timothy Stevens, but here's the video, as y'all can see, that on YouTube. If you wanted to go and see that video that we did, Iron Sharpening Iron, about Kyrie Irving, this is where you can see it. You still can see it there. And you see I always upload, here after YouTube. YouTube was always the primary where I would upload, because I get more viewers, on YouTube. But you can see when I uploaded this video, it was November the 18th of 2022. So 9 times out of 10, I probably uploaded to YouTube on the 17th or the 16th, right? Because I usually would upload, a day or two afterward to Hebrew Connect than I do on YouTube. So you see, this video was from over almost 3.5 years ago, and for them people, to go in now, find the video, then try to say, oh, well, you were being anti-Semitic and all this crap. Nobody was being anti-Semitic. We was telling the truth, right? Truth hurts their feelings because they're a bunch of liars. All right, so if you go to Hebrew Connect, right, .tv, right, and you type in Bro Tim, BROTIM, my page should come up, okay? And then you'll see all these from even way back, because I was uploading on Hebrew Connect over five years ago. So you see what I'm saying? But and you'll find some of my videos up here. The only problem with Hebrew Connect is, anytime I try to upload a video over an hour, then I get an error message with them too. So, And the videos that usually are up underneath an hour is the ones that I upload to Hebrew Connect. So this is just the different places of where y'all can all find me, in the future, should anything go down. All right. All right. But now, another thing that I want to tell y'all, definitely find, K. Judah, right? Find his page. Apostle Curtis, right? Two Houses of Israel, ministry, Brother Elder Darrell. Right? Find their pages, even the brothers at the Nazarene Hebrew Institute of Technology. Right? Right? Because as long as y'all on those pages, as long as y'all got them, see, I can always go in, and talk with them brothers, and basically let them know what's going on. And as long as y'all, know where, if I get kicked off, if you go to either K. Judah, Apostle Curtis, Two Houses of Israel, Ministry and Nazarene Hebrew Institute of Technology, you know, they can be able to tell y'all, you know what I'm saying, exactly if I've been kicked off and all these type of things, you know, especially with K. Judah and Apostle Curtis, right? So the bottom line is, you know, I just, you know, make sure that y'all can go to their pages and subscribe, right? And then that way, you know what I mean, if something was to happen to them, y'all, you know, those of y'all that are on their ministries, y'all subscribe. Then if something happens to me, they'll reach out to me and let me know, and then I can tell you what's going on with them. Because see, we're gonna have to work together because these people are getting more and more desperate. You know, all this stuff is coming out on them, right? And they know we are truly the key. We're the ones that got the truth. So everybody eventually has got to come back this way, you see? So this is why we say, you know what I mean? We got to make sure we start working together, you know, to the point that if anything happens, everybody knows where to go. Because what they want to do most of all is to break up our communities. They always do that. That's their main thing, is to divide and conquer. And as long as they see that people are continue to gravitate, and we're beginning to, you know, get one understanding amongst all of us, and we're working together as a team and as a unit, that's what scares them the most, right? Because they do not want us as a people to cry out, because they know when we do that, that's the beginning of their downfall. And you can see it already happening. Y'all remember what happened when we did the Day of Atonement back here, you know what I mean, in September. Now look at what's happening in the world, you see? So to think that our prayers are not being heard, right, that's a lie. But, you know, another thing I want to say to all of you, you know what I'm saying, YouTube, you know, people that's trying to throw me off, I pray right now that the Father would avenge me of my adversaries. You make yourself my adversary, you will be punished, right? So I got to give you a warning in advance. Don't make yourself my adversary, right? Because you won't win that battle. I'm just telling you right now, right? He told me, he gave me power to tread on serpents and on scorpions, and nothing shall by any means hurt me, right? It's necessary that offenses will come, but woe to the man by whom the offense cometh. It was better than him, for him to be drowned in the sea with a millstone around his neck, than to offend one of these little ones that believe in me. So the bottom line is, y'all better tread carefully with who you're messing with. I ain't one of these regular people that you can just try to do anything with on YouTube and think there won't be no repercussions. We're past that point in this whole big deal, right? But now let's get back into some videos, and let's go ahead and break down what's going on with this war and all those type of things, right?
Now, let's check in with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who wrote on X, quote, "We are in a campaign in which we are bringing the full might of the IDF as never before to this battle to ensure our existence and our future." Mind you, we're talking about a country that has a clandestine nuclear program and is not in any way threatened. Its existence is not threatened in any way. He continues, "But we are also bringing to this campaign the support of the United States, my friend, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and the US military. 6 of our soldiers have already died for Israel in this war." He continues, "This combination of forces enables us to do what I have longed to do for 40 years, to strike the terrorist regime hip and thigh. That is what I promised, and that is what we will do."
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the rich uranium for an atom bomb.
Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade.
Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
This is word for word, verbatim, from the Jerusalem Post by Benjamin Netanyahu in 1990. If we get caught, they will just replace us with a person from the same cloth. So it doesn't matter what you do. America is a golden calf, and we will suck it dry, chop it up, and sell it off piece by piece until there is nothing left but the world's biggest welfare state that we create and control. Why? Because it's God's will. And America is big enough to take the hit, so we can do it again and again and again. This is what we do to the countries that we hate. We destroy them very slowly, but we make them suffer for refusing to be our slaves. So the man that they've convinced us is supposed to be our greatest ally, in 1990 was quoted saying that he plans to destabilize America and then in the process turn us into a forever welfare state which they control, and we will be their slaves, because that's what he does, and that's what Israelis do and Jews do to the countries that they hate, and they want to make them their slaves.
All right, so y'all remember at the beginning of the video I showed you, Joe Biden is on record of saying, listen, even if there wasn't an Israel, we would have to invent one for American strategic interests. But now here you see Benjamin Netanyahu has said he's wanted to strike Iran for over 40 years, right? He come up with a bunch of lies, you know what I'm saying, that, oh, they got nuclear weapons, knowing that they were lying, same thing that they did to Iraq. And then all of a sudden he says, you know what, we're going to cut America up in pieces, you know what I'm saying, and create a welfare state. This is what we do to the countries that we hate. Why would they hate America, right? Because they know, you know what I'm saying? America got all these people who believe that they are Christians, you know? They also understand who's the true Israelites who are in America. That's why Hitler is the only one that came out and told what the real cause of all of this is, right? And these people, these Europeans, sons of Japheth, Gentiles, have made it a purpose in their heart to go down into the Holy Land and try to take over the Most High's land. And in doing so, you have trespassed against the God of the whole world, the creator of the whole world. Y'all are screwed. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to win this. But what I think they're doing ultimately is they're in the process of destroying America, right? Because as you can see, you know, Netanyahu said that this is what we do to the countries that we hate, you know? So the bottom line, and now America is one of the leading, everybody here now is like, they're not the real Israelites. You know what I'm saying? We're tired of fighting their wars for them and everything else. Why wouldn't they now try to build a narrative that if, and we've seen all those rabbis saying, you know what I mean, that America is Edom, you see? So they've been telling that lie. So you can see they basically have drawn America into a war that they know America, you know, is not going to win. You know what I'm saying? And they already, you know what I mean, trying to flip sides and go down here and buddy up with India. You know what I'm saying? Let me show y'all this next clip.
Speaking of the Israeli government, by the way, today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio did make that statement that I read to you earlier. I wanted to read you what he said. Now I want you to watch what he said. Take a look.
The second question that's been asked is, why now? Well, there's two reasons why now. The first is it was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, the United States or Israel or anyone, they were going to respond against the United States. The orders had been delegated down to the field commanders. It was automatic, and in fact, it bared to be true, because in fact, within an hour of the initial attack on the leadership compound, the missile forces in the south and in the north, for that matter, had already been activated to launch. In fact, those had already been pre-positioned. The third is the assessment that was made that if we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties. And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces.
We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces.
And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act.
He continued to say, we knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we'd suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher than those killed.
Now, did y'all hear that? Right? He said they knew it was going to be an Israeli action. After they had already known that Iran said, if y'all hit us or if Israel hits us, we're going to bomb these bases. You know what I'm saying? Your American bases around here, right? They knew it and allowed Israel still to go over there and slap Iran. You know what I'm saying? And then they went in and helped Israel, you know what I mean, start this war. And now that Iran is responding, oh, you see how Iran, we hit military targets. They're hitting, civilian targets. Y'all went over there and the first thing you did was bomb and kill, you know what I mean, girls going to school. But you think Iran wasn't going to swing back? But y'all knew. So if you're the United States and you're supposed to be the big dog, this little dog gonna go over here and pick a fight with somebody, and then that person comes and pops you in the mouth, wouldn't you say, hey, we told y'all, don't you go and start nothing. The fact that you started this, hey, go ahead, y'all can have at them. We're gonna back up. We backing off. They want to fight y'all so bad, y'all go ahead and y'all get it in. You know what I'm saying? We ain't helping. We ain't got nothing to do with it, right? But no, that ain't what happened. They sit there and let Israel put United States servicemen in harm's way. Now you make that make sense. Let's go back to the clip.
So let me just say, then the enemy is Israel. The enemy is Israel. If you're worried about Israel launching an attack, which would then make American soldiers in the region vulnerable to Iran's attacks, then Israel is not an ally. But he would never say that, of course.
Yeah, there was two admissions there. So first is, so Israel did push us into the war.
Of course.
You said, well, Israel was gonna attack, so we didn't have a choice. Well, here's a choice. Hey, Israel, we've given you $330 billion. If you attack without getting our permission, you won't get a single more dollar and we will not help your attack. Who's the boss of who? Because if you just listen to Marco Rubio there, you would think that Israel is the much larger nation. We're the tiny little nation and we gotta listen to them because they're so powerful. Well, if Israel was gonna go, then we were forced to go? Why? He just admitted we have no control over Israel and they have complete control over us. But the second part is even worse. Did Israel use that as leverage against us? Hey, we could go without you, and if we do, then your guys will be caught off guard and a lot more Americans will die. So you better attack when we tell you. That's what it sounded like he said.
That's exactly, but that's what happened, Cenk. That's what happened. These are not our allies, okay?
That's not an ally, man.
They use and abuse, they don't care about our lives, they don't care about our soldiers' lives. They suck the life out of this country. And now they're looking to India to see if they could suck the life out of that country. It looks like Narendra Modi opening up his legs to Israel. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That can't happen soon enough, by the way. Okay, I would love to have Israel off our backs because they are destroying our country. They dragged us into previous conflicts and wars that we should have not been involved in at all. And now we're sucked into this war, which has escalated. It's become a regional war.
Now, y'all hear all that smoke that they have for Israel? Now ask yourself, why did old brother Tim get banned and these people ain't getting banned, right? They're influencing way more people is hearing them than are hearing me. So why did they ban me, but they not banning them? I'll tell you why. They are pushing this anti-Israel narrative. See, the difference between them and me is I'm not saying Israel is over here doing this and Israel's doing that. Because we're the Negroes and we're Israel, we ain't doing that. The synagogue of Satan, the Jews who say they are Jews and are not, this Israel that has been invented, like Joe Biden said, that invention of Israel, that's the one that's going over there doing all this stuff. And now they're playing mind games with the Christians, right? Because they're telling y'all standing and supporting this. And then here you got these liberals now who don't believe in God, atheists and every daggone thing else, sitting up here talking about See, that's why I don't believe in that Bible. And that's why I don't believe in Israel and Judeo-Christianity and all this type of stuff, right? So you see, they're painting that narrative. Remember what we talked about in Albert Pike's letter. 3 world wars. Israel, the Islamic world, mutually fight to destroy each other. What do they hope to get out of that? For people whose moral and deistic spirits will not know where to look for the adoration. Then eventually they can bring in the Luciferian Satanism. So you think about it. Luciferians are behind this war. The Bible tells us that there's Jews who say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. They're the ones that's responsible for this. They want people to lose their faith. But see, because I'm telling people, and people are understanding, yeah, well, they're not the children of Israel. So the bottom line is, oh, well, the Judeo-Christian, true Hebrew Israelite, true Christianity, you know what I'm saying, still stands. People don't lose their faith. So that's why they attack me, but they don't attack them, right? Let's go back to the clips.
As tensions rise in the Middle East, the US Army faces growing confusion, while Trump called Secretary of State Marco Rubio a liar over his remarks. Rubio admitted a major weakness in US missile defenses, noting America has only 6 or 7 missiles compared to Iran's reported 100.
They are producing, by some estimates, over 100 of these missiles a month. Compare that to the 6 or 7 interceptors that can be built a month. They can build 100 of these a month, not to mention the thousands of one-way attack drones that they also have. They've been doing this for a very long time, and by the way, they've been doing it under sanction.
Hours later, Trump claimed the United States now holds record stockpiles of munitions, presenting a stark contrast to Rubio's warning. Before the conflict, the top US general had already warned about a missile shortage, signaling vulnerabilities in defense planning. Trump insisted the US could fight the war indefinitely, while Netanyahu called for a swift resolution to avoid prolonged conflict.
I hear the people are saying, we're going to have an endless war here. You're not going to have an endless war. Now, of course, it's up to the people of Iran in the final count to change the government. But we are creating, America and Israel together are creating the conditions for them to do so.
Now, you hear what he said. We are creating, and then he threw in America and Israel, we're creating whatever. What's it got to do? Wait a minute. Why are y'all working in conjunction to overthrow a sovereign country, right? And what interest does America have in all this, right? To the point that Marco Rubio went out here and said, listen, they can create 100 missiles a month, where we can only create 6 or 7 to defend against that. Well, how do you plan on winning that? You see what I'm saying? You're not going to go over there and nuke them, because if you nuke them right there in that region, Pakistan, China, and Russia, you know what I'm saying? You're going to open up a whole nuclear war, right? So if you dummies go ahead and do that, then guess what? Y'all might as well get it over with and do it now. You see what I'm saying? But the bottom line is, Rubio sit there and told it that, you know what I'm saying, Iran has been building up all these missiles. You see what I'm saying? The United States are going to come over here because Israel wants the United States to get involved in this. Oh, and then Netanyahu comes to talk to the American citizens. You're a foreign leader. Why are you over here talking to it? You know, why are they allowing you during wartime to talk to American citizens when you're a foreign leader of another country? That don't make no sense. You see? But the bottom line is, you see who's dragging who by the leash, right? But yet, you know what I mean? Trump gets out here. Oh, yeah, we got plenty of missiles. We got whatever. After the U.S. general said that they don't. So how do you know, Trump? You see what I'm saying? Right? So the bottom line is, you can see this is strategically being done. That they're drawing America into a war, knowing that it will exhaust America's resources. Then their narrative be, well, you know, because Americans turned on the Jews, and you know that's what the Bible says, bless those who bless Israel and curse those who curse Israel. When the truth of the matter is, the Bible say that you can't go into that land and sin and trespass and not have an atonement. Y'all should not be able to stand before your enemies. So if anything, you should be getting smoked, right? But the bottom line is, that land is going to become a desolation, because all this stuff that y'all think y'all got going on, that's why it continues to blow up in y'all's faces, right? That's why y'all don't want us speaking amongst ourselves, right? So this is why we got to continue to pray, right? Because the bottom line is the weapons of our warfare is spiritual. We don't need rockets and bombs. We need the Most High Yah, right? So that's why we got to stay in prayer, right? Let's go back to the next clip.
Confusion appears to be gripping the Trump administration as Iran defiantly refuses to back down, leaving Washington struggling to project control and clarity amid mounting regional tensions and diplomatic uncertainty. With US bases and embassies under fire across the Middle East, reports confirm that Washington has already lost at least 6 American troops, raising fears of a broader escalation and intensifying domestic pressure on the White House. As the war intensifies and global concern deepens, President Trump announced on March 2nd that America's munition stockpiles have reached their highest levels in history, signaling continued confidence in the nation's military readiness. Trump further asserted that the United States possessed what he called a virtually unlimited supply of medium and upper medium grade weapons, describing the country's arsenal as fully capable of sustaining extended combat operations if necessary. Trump said, quote, "The United States munition stockpiles have, at the medium and upper medium grade, never been higher or better. As was stated to me today, we have a virtually unlimited supply of these weapons. Wars can be fought forever, and very successfully, using just these supplies, which are better than other countries' finest arms. At the highest end, we have a good supply, but are not where we want to be. Much additional high-grade weaponry is stored for us in outlying countries. Sleepy Joe Biden spent all of his time, and our country's money, giving everything to P.T. Barnum, Zelensky, of Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars worth. And, while he gave so much of the super high-end away, free, he didn't bother to replace it. Fortunately, I rebuilt the military in my first term, and continue to do so. The United States is stocked, and ready to win, big. Thank you for your attention to this matter." Unquote. Yet, just hours before Trump's statement, the US Secretary of State had issued a sobering assessment, warning of a stark mismatch between American and Iranian missile production capacities, an imbalance that could reshape the trajectory of this conflict.
Going back to the purpose of this is to destroy that missile capability. Why does Iran want that ballistic missile capability? What they are trying to do, and have been trying to do for a very long time, is build a conventional weapons capability as a shield where it can hide behind. Meaning, there would come a point where they have so many conventional missiles, so many drones, and it can inflict so much damage that no one can do anything about their nuclear program. That is what they were trying to do, is put themselves in a place of immunity where the damage they could inflict on the region would be so high that no one can do anything about their nuclear program or their nuclear ambitions. They are producing, by some estimates, over 100 of these missiles a month.
They are producing, by some estimates, over 100 of these missiles a month. They are producing, by some estimates, over 100 of these missiles a month.
Compare that to the 6 or 7 interceptors that can be built a month. They can build 100 of these a month, not to mention the thousands of one-way attack drones that they also have. They've been doing this for a very long time, and by the way, they've been doing it under sanction. You see the attacks they're conducting right now? They're attacking airports, they're attacking hotels, they're hitting not just military bases, they're attacking our embassies directly, they're attacking facilities that have nothing to do with war or with military, and that's a weakened Iran. That's in Iran despite years of sanction. Imagine a year from now, or a year and a half from now, the capabilities they would have to inflict damage on us. It's an unacceptable risk, especially in the hands of a regime that's run by radical clerics.
All right, so now let's break this down, because we know that Trump has got to be the one lying, because think about it. They already went through this with their 12-day stuff that they had going on in June, right? The bottom line is, he said that, you know what I mean, Iran can produce hundreds of missiles, and y'all can only produce 6 to 7, you know what I mean, to defend and all this type of stuff, right? Well, here's the deal. If you don't have the missiles to match their missiles, the difference is they're in their country. They can keep putting theirs back and just ship it to where they got to, you know what I mean? You have to take your missiles from all the way over here in the continental United States, put them on a ship or put them on a plane somehow, and get them all the way to where you need to get them. You see what I'm saying? So then by the time you do that, you know, these people are reloading, keep on bombing. If you get short waiting for your supply to come, you're sitting out here naked, right? Luke chapter 14, verse 28 through 32. This is why, you know what I mean, these devils don't know nothing. This is why they shouldn't be leading nothing. Because what does the Bible tell you? For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he has sufficient to finish it? You're supposed to count up the cost. Lest haply after he had laid the foundation is not able to finish it, all that behold it began to mock, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. Or what king goeth to make war against another king, right? Now, Israel then went over and struck Iran the first time, and after Iran popped them, then they wanted to desire conditions of peace, just like this says, right? Or what king goeth to make war against another king, sitteth not down first, and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000? Or else, while the other is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassage, or basically ambassadors, and desireth conditions of peace, right? This is what happened back in June. So now you think that you suddenly got enough missiles to go in here? You couldn't keep up with that barrage that they put on you the first time, and you're going to wait about 7 or 8 months, you know what I'm saying, and go right back over there, and dumb Trump is going to let you lead him like a dog right by the leash and drag you right over there with him? You see what I'm saying? He done messed up royally. His base is going to turn on him. He is screwed, right? He let Netanyahu absolutely destroy, you know what I'm saying, his legacy. Let's go back to the clip and y'all see what Iran said about, you know what I'm saying, them not trusting the United States anymore because twice they tried to negotiate with these heathens and they backstabbed them. Let me go and show y'all the clip.
Well, Iran has been always open to diplomacy. And I think we have a very good record of that. Contrary to Americans, that their record is very bad and very negative. You know, this is the second time that we negotiated with Americans and they decided to attack us right in the middle of negotiation. So the first, rocket or missile or whatever that they fired hit the negotiation table. It happened exactly the same last June. We had another experience. We negotiated with them together with other members of P5+1, and we concluded the deal in 2015. And it was the US who withdrew with no justification, with no reason. And Iran remained committed to that deal as long as it was, in place. So nobody can question Iran's, good faith and readiness for diplomacy, for talks.
So y'all heard it. I ain't making it up. You know what I'm saying? Yet they run around here banning me. You know, they done went over there twice and sabotaged negotiations. You know what I'm saying? Where Iran and the United States trying to have diplomacy, and then here goes Netanyahu and them going there and bombing kids and bombing children and stuff, right? But they want to ban me. Let's go back to the clip.
There is no victory in this war, and they have not been able to achieve their targets, and they cannot achieve their targets in the coming days. As long as they continue, they cannot achieve anything. This reminds me of the previous war, 12-day war in last June, when they expected that in 2-3 days Iran would capitulate, would surrender itself, but it took 12 days for them to understand the point that Iran is not surrendering, that they have no way but to ask for an unconditional ceasefire. And this is what we heard from them in day 12. That they called us through Americans and asked for unconditional ceasefire.
So now you see. And I don't understand. That's why, deep down, I think they still all working together. Because here's my deal. You was firing on them after they fired on you. And you had them whooped up. You know what I mean? You was nailing them, right? They call you and ask you for conditions of peace. You give them conditions of peace when you know their missiles are low. You're going to let United States and all of them rebuild and then put aircraft carriers and all this stuff in here. You should have utterly wiped out all of their major infrastructure to ever attack you again. You should have wiped that completely out. You know what I'm saying? But you didn't. Now they're back, right? But what does the Albert Pike letter say? Y'all going to fight to the point you mutually destroy each other. So y'all caught them, you know what I'm saying, where they realized, well, wait a minute, y'all firing more, yo, time out. And y'all let these people come back and re-up on you. That don't make no sense to me, right? Let's go back to the clip.
Well, if their goal is change the regime, that is a mission impossible. The demise of the leader doesn't mean that, regime change or the change of the political system in Iran. No, we have a very well-established political system. We have a very rich constitution. And based on that, all, state institutions are in place. They are doing their job, their function. And as I explained before, even in the demise of the supreme leader, we have a procedure and that we have immediately activated. And you will see the result either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, that a new leader would be appointed by the Assembly of Experts. All of those experts are elected by the people themselves. And the whole system, the whole regime, as you said, is strong enough to resist against any turbulences. And as you see, we lost some commanders, top-ranking military commanders, but they were immediately replaced because everything is very well established in Iran.
All right, so again, think about it. The United States is all on TV talking about regime change. And here they are just saying they have a succession plan, right? I mean, who wouldn't have a succession plan? They didn't sit and watched you overthrow Libya, overthrow Iraq, overthrow, Syria. You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't they have a succession plan in place, right? So you go kill one of their leaders, they just got another one that's going to come up. And what I've even heard as far as, the Ayatollah is that, because I was like, well, why didn't they hide him? Why didn't they put him in a bunker? He didn't want to go into no bunker. He's like, if I can't have all my people to go in no bunker with me, I ain't hiding. That right there, y'all made that man a martyr. That's why you got millions of them out there in the street talking about, death to Israel and death to, America, because they killed Khamenei, right? Now, y'all have made the man a martyr. How stupid, you know what I'm saying? Let's go back to the clip.
Well, actually, as you know, we have no problem with our countries in the other side of the Persian Gulf. We have friendly relations and good neighborly relations with all of them, and we are determined to continue these relations. What we are doing is, in fact, an act of self-defense and retaliation to the American aggression against us. We are not attacking our brothers in the, in the Persian Gulf. We are not attacking our neighbors, but we are attacking American targets. And this is obvious. The Americans, the United States military is targeting us, is attacking us, and we have no way but to defend ourselves. And of course, we cannot hit any target in the territory of the United States, so we have to deal with their bases in the region and the facilities or installations they use in the countries of the region.
So did y'all hear that? And he told you, we couldn't even hit, the region in the United States. So how are they a threat to the people in the United States? But these senators, remember what Joe Biden said, for the United States interests is the reason why, even if Israel wasn't Israel, they would invent Israel. Well, that's what, what's happening anyway, because they're not Israel, you see? So all y'all are doing is over there, but based off of your interests. Now y'all going over here, being led, like a puppy, puppy dog by your master, to go over here and bite somebody, and now you got bit in return. You know what I'm saying? And they're bombing your embassies and your military bases, and y'all ain't even got the areas covered, right? Let me show y'all this next clip. It only gets worse.
Okay, here we go. As promised, what I wanted to bring you was an opportunity to visualize what most would call the theater of war And that's what they refer to, what you see behind me. This is the theater of war. Let's put now the missiles in the cities so that people can see exactly what we're talking about. And you're going to see how this really has been turning into a conflagration of sorts, right? Suddenly it's escalated into something much bigger than what probably the Israelis and the U.S. was thinking this was going to be, which was going to be essentially a battle between Iran, Israel, and the United States. No. It's turned into much more. In fact, let me just give you a primer, if we could, because the Iranians, immediately after getting hit, started hitting Bahrain, then they hit UAE, then they hit Qatar, now they've hit Oman, they've also hit Kuwait, they've had to respond and hit Iraq. Obviously, over here, they're hitting Israel as well. And these are the countries that they've had to hit, and Saudi Arabia now as well. Now, as a result, and this is how these things have a tendency to escalate, right? Now, as a result, Iraq has gotten involved and they're hitting Israel. And you can't see it down here, but just down here where my hand is would be Yemen. And they're involved and they're hitting Israel as well. So there's missiles going out and missiles coming in, obviously, as well, from the United States and from Israel. So let me bring Stas in now. Stas, would you come in? Let's talk about this, because you actually can put military expertise on what is the visualization of the theater. I don't even know where to start. I guess we have to start with what is called the Persian Gulf states, right in this area right here. This is where Iran immediately started responding, and of course, they're being criticized for it by some countries in Europe at this point. But what is their game plan with the missiles they've hit here, and how long can they continue that?
Well, first of all, as far as where they continue, they've actually used very few old ballistics and a few hypersonics and old drones, and they've had great effects because they're being used to trigger the air defense systems and to suck up ammunition.
I see.
Just as an example, the 2 batteries of THAADs that the U.S. Deployed to Israel, 191 missiles. That's it. Once there's a use, those THAADs, you can use the radars, but the launchers.
So you're saying Iran is kind of holding back its missile deployment at this point?
Iran is going for a long game. The U.S. is going, Trump's already said, 4 days. We'll be in and out 4 days. We'll get what we want. Iran's going, no, we're going to fight this the long way.
Well, I just had a conversation a little while ago with the deputy foreign minister, and basically he said the same thing. He seemed to be implying they'll attack as long as they're being attacked. Right. Can they do it? Does Iran have that kind of?
Oh, Iran could go for months. At the rate that they're going, they're still manufacturing missiles and drones. Let's not forget that. They still have manufacturing facilities going. So the missiles and drones that they're firing right now, they're backfilling. U.S. doesn't have that kind of capacity for backfilling anti-aircraft missiles.
And what are they?
So you see, they're roping these dopes. You know what I'm saying? Just like Ali. They just letting these people, you know what I mean, come over here, shoot their little stuff, do all they whatever. And they just hitting to the point they got to use all those defense, missiles. And then after that, you're sitting there naked, and then you're at their mercy. And they can sit up here and bomb you into smithereens if they want to. But the problem is, do they want to? You see what I'm saying? Because they had them the first time and they didn't do it. But now, here it is. Now, Israel gets whooped. Now, they're gonna put the Epstein files out on Trump and say, hey, you get your butt over here and help us, because they open up a can of whoop on us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. This don't make no sense whatsoever. All right, let's go to this last clip.
Can I just stop and ask you a question that I imagine everybody's thinking right now? We were led to believe that the United States has such anti-ballistic defense systems that there's no way the Iranians would be able to hit these bases. But I'm not an expert. From what I can tell, Iran is hitting these bases, aren't they?
Iran is hitting these bases. It's having a lot of bad effect because
But why is that? I thought our defenses the U.S. defenses were so strong.
Because Israel's more important than the American clients in the Persian Gulf.
You're saying that, like, the sophisticated Patriot, for example, are not here, they're there.
There are sophisticated Patriots there, but the majority of the air defense is going to Israel. That's what the client or the owner, whichever how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
They're the ones getting the most master system, the masters. These guys, and this is a shock for these client states because they were led to believe, let the U.S. do whatever, let the U.S. base in your country, you're safe. They're not safe. Qatar found out when Israel struck them.
Right.
In the middle of their capital city, that they're not safe. But they continued, and now Iran is striking them. In fact, we just had a F-18 videos out. F-18 got shot down over Kuwait. It's trying to lift up, and it got shot.
So they're really a legitimate, from a business, I mean, from a military standpoint, this is a legitimate defense that they're putting up against the United States.
Oh, yeah.
No question.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes, legitimate, because y'all gonna let them mutually destroy each other, right? That's why it's so important to understand that this is a Luciferian takeover, right? But anyway, let's go Jeremiah 33, close out with this. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah the second time while he was yet shut up in the court of the prisons, saying, so this is when Nebuchadnezzar had come down and took the southern kingdom of Judah captive, okay? So Jeremiah is in the prison. Thus saith the Lord, the maker thereof, the Lord that formed it, to establish it, the Lord is his name. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. So this is important for us now. When these things start going crazy, don't lose your faith. Call unto the Lord God of Israel, right? Of the real Israelites. You see what I'm saying? Not these fake synagogue of Satan people. Verse 4, for thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, right? The people who got put on slave ships scattered all over the world and had yokes of iron on their necks, right? He ain't the God of these heathens, right? That's running around here, synagogue of Satan running around here bombing women and children, right? For thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, concerning the houses of this city and concerning the houses of the kings of Judah, which are thrown down by the mounts and by the sword. They come to fight with the Chaldeans, okay? So this is when Nebuchadnezzar and the Chaldeans came down here, and the people of Babylon. But it is to fill them with the dead bodies of men whom I have slain in my anger and in my fury, and for all those wickedness I have hid my face from this city. So this is the reason, because that Jerusalem, you know what I'm saying, and the children of Israel wasn't doing like the Most High said, so he raised up, you know what I mean, the enemy against them. And he told them, y'all not going to be able to defeat them because I'm not with you. I'm with them. I'm bringing them against you, right? Behold, I will bring it health and cure, and I will cure them, and reveal unto them the abundance of peace and truth. And I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return, and will build them as at the first, right? And I will cleanse them from all their iniquity, whereby they have sinned against me. So you see, Israel always has to take care of the sin issue. You ain't seen them people talk about going to war and getting rid of the sin issue. And we know they can't get rid of the sin issue except they accept Christ, right? Because if you go out here sacrificing animals, the Most High is not taking that now, right? So here we go. And I will pardon all their iniquities. If your iniquities are not pardoned, then that means you can't stand in front of your enemies. So they should be utterly destroyed if they were the real children of Israel. But they're going to get destroyed for faking like they're the children of Israel and going down there and sinning in the land, right? Whereby they have sinned and whereby they have transgressed against me. And it shall be to me a name of joy, a praise and an honor before all the nations of the earth, which shall hear all the good that I do unto them. Well, guess what? You know, people over here, you see, we already, all of America is like, man, these people are liars. They ain't the real Israelites. Look what they done. They done put us in debt. Now they dragging us into another war, right? So the bottom line, where's the joy and the praise coming from the nations when it comes to this matter, right? So we know they lying. Anyway, which shall hear all the good that I do unto them. So that good is going to be done to us, not them. And they shall fear and tremble for all the goodness and for all the prosperity that I procure unto it. Thus saith the Lord, again, there shall be heard in this place which you say shall be desolate without man and without beast, even in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem that are desolate without man and without inhabitant and without beast. That's why they're going to allow these people to utterly destroy that so that people will lose faith, right? This is what the Most High let happen the first time with Nebuchadnezzar and them. The voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride. The voice of them that shall say, praise the Lord of hosts, for the Lord is good, for his mercy endureth forever. And of them that shall bring the sacrifice of praise into the house of the Lord, for I will cause to return the captivity of the land as at the first, saith the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, again in this place, which is desolate without man and without beast. See, they should have never went down there. And in all the cities thereof shall be an habitation of shepherds, causing their flocks to lie down. In the cities of the mountains, in the cities of the vale, and in the cities of the south, and in the land of Benjamin, and in the palace, and in the places about Jerusalem, and in the cities of Judah, shall the flocks pass again under the hands of him that telleth them, saith the Lord. Well, remember, when they came back out of Babylon. Now, the northern kingdom never came back, but the southern kingdom did come back. That's why Christ ended up coming after the time once the Greeks had took over and the Romans took over. Then Christ and them did come back and they did rebuild the cities. But after the Romans destroyed it, you see, that place ain't been built up ever since, right? Verse 14, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will perform that good thing which I have promised unto the house of Israel. So that's the northern kingdom. So we know this ain't talking about what happened in Babylon, you know, when they returned from captivity out of Babylon, because the house of Israel, the northern kingdom, never came back, right? And to the house of Judah. So you see, northern kingdom, southern kingdom. In those days and at that time will I cause the branch of righteousness to grow up unto David. So we know that's Christ. And he shall execute judgment and righteousness in the land. In those days shall Judah be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell safely. Well, guess what? We see this ain't happened because Judah is not dwelling safely, right? And this is the name wherewith she shall be called, the Lord our righteousness. For thus saith the Lord, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel. Neither shall the priests the Levites want a man before me to offer burnt offerings and to kindle meat offerings and to do sacrifice continually. Why? Because Christ is made a priest after the order of Melchizedek. He's both king and he's priest, right? So when they talk about having these Levites to go in and come in and doing all that, we got the high priest is after the order of Melchizedek now. We ain't got no Levitical priesthood anymore, right? Verse 19, and the word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah, saying, thus saith the Lord, if you can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night, and that there should not be day and night in their season, then may also my covenant be broken with David my servant, that he should not have a son to reign upon his throne. Well, we know who that son is, that's Christ. And with the Levites, the priests, my minister. And we know who the high priest is now, that's Christ, right? As the host of heaven cannot be numbered, neither the sand of the sea measured, so will I multiply the seed of David my servant and the Levites that minister unto me, right? Moreover, the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah, saying, considerest thou not what this people hath spoken, saying the two families, right, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, which the Lord hath chosen, he hath even cast them off. Thus they have despised my people. And you see these people still despise us. They're over here running around here saying, oh, the Palestinians are the real Israelites. You know what I mean? Oh, the church has replaced Israel, the replacement theology, right? When we were the ones that got put on slave ships and scattered all over the world, and they still don't want to acknowledge that we are the true children of Israel because they despised us, right? That they should be no more a nation before them. So you see all this stuff. They don't want us to come back. They think they can stop the Most High from doing what he already promised to do. They ain't got no lot or no parcel in this matter. They're screwed, right? Verse 25, thus saith the Lord, if my covenant be not with day and night, and if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David my servant, so that I will not take any of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? For I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them. So you see, he's specifically talking about the Israelites. But these people want to say that the church has replaced Israel. No, the church comprises of Israel and you Gentiles who cleave to the house of Israel through Christ, period. All right, so with that being said, you know what I mean? Again, I want to thank each and every one of y'all. Now, those videos that I had put out on Spotify, I haven't put out on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and upload those. So we may be 5, 6, 7 days in a row, you know what I'm saying, where we can get together since they wanted to try to take a week from us. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I feel about the situation. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? But I got new videos to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just going to do the old videos. I may alternate them or whatever, but I got new videos to put out, you know what I'm saying? As long as, you know what I'm saying, these you know, haters don't come in here and try to shut me down again, right? But anyway, it is what it is. Most High's will be done. I could care less one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I just hated is that we didn't get together, you know, get to go together and fellowship. You know what I'm saying? Because I really do enjoy the live chats. That's why I say make sure y'all, you know what I mean, hit Apostle Curtis, hit, you know what I'm saying, K. Judah, right? Brother Two Houses Ministries. That way, you know what I'm saying, when, you know, because I got to talk to a lot of y'all during their live chats, you know, especially with Apostle Curtis and K. Judah, you know, and also the Brothers of Nazarene Hebrew Institute of Technology. Shout out to y'all as well. But to each and every one of y'all, you know what I'm saying, in the live chats, in the comment section that hit me, you know what I'm saying, I want to say thank you. Shalom. I thank the Most High for each and every one of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all joining again. You know what I'm saying? Make sure we stay prayed up, right? We see what's going on, right? Make sure you ask the Father to fill you with his Holy Spirit. You stay prayed up in all of this. You know what I'm saying? Ask him to lead and guide you. Get your Bibles, read, study, you know what I'm saying? And that way, you know what I mean, you continue to grow in him, right? Ask him to give you faith, right? You're going to need it in this hour. All right. With that being said, once again, Most High bless you all. Thanks for watching. Shalom.
Though I walk through the valley of death, shadows whisper, still in my breath. The ground feels cold, like it's a lie. Each step a battle, just to survive. Though I walk alone through the dark, through the storm, but I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. A light inside, it's my barricade. The trees, they shiver, they bend and creak. The wind, it howls, the future bleak. Yet my heart beats loud, a steady drum. It tells the night I won't succumb. They can't break me, no they won't, no they won't. My soul's on fire, they don't know. Though I walk alone through the dark, through the storm, but I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. A light inside, it's my barricade. Fear is a shadow, it clings to the weed, but I got a voice and I let it speak. Mountains crumble, the skies might fall, but I'll rise up, I'll rise through it all. Though I walk, though I'm not afraid, a lot afraid. No, I'm not.